where does your power come from? Power is the ability to act. And you look at power, if you think about electricity, and that's kinetic, active, or it's passive. It's waiting to be activated or used. We're always powerful. Whether we know it or not has to do with our concepts and our beliefs. And also what is operating on the unconscious level, you might say, below the level of consciousness that we're not aware of. So what we want to do is to bring forth that which we have been unconscious about, that has been operating in our lives, because it's based on fear. But not just fear. The fear of getting rid of the fear of the fear. I mean, it's many levels of making fear, what would you say, the opposite of love. Like love has an opposite. Absolute love has no opposite. Anything that teaches that fear is the opposite of love is bogus, because fear is not even a reality. It's a feeling of terror in the body. It's a shutdown, and immediately when there's fear, and if fear is running constantly, the body's always in a state of anxiety and waiting for the other shoe to fall or disaster to happen. Coming from memory, coming from what we've in the memory, whether it's been movies or videos or our imagination from what we've read in books and generated in the mind and in the imagination. So what we want to do is then discover and realize what those blockages are and eliminate them, because they're all based really on concepts and ideas that we are holding in the mind, that is in the mind, and the mind knows all about you. So we also have our individual aspect of this mind that's our individual. And then we say, well, you want to have divine mind. Well, if you think you need a mind, great, yeah, I have divine mind, but you don't need a mind. This is called fragmentation. And when we're fragmented and all this thing, a part of me's here and here and here and here and here and here and here, because you're throwing yourself out to all of these fragmented parts, and concerned always about this maintaining your identity, your false ego, based on what you believe is valid and real and true and good and better than others. Because to really liberate oneself from the bondage of this fear-based deep programming on all levels, producing a hypnotic trance state of where we are so distracted from our own being and power that we're always emotionalizing and reacting continuously to the outer reality, outer realm, that's now influencing also the state of the body. Besides, and we're fueling all of this with divine energy, divine power. You always have all the power because you have access to the totality of all energy, which is divine. And then you have the world energy, which is always a perverted shadow reflection of the divine true power that is divine, that is you, beyond electricity. And you're not a light being. The body here is a light body. So you could say this is your light body because it's made of the elements. And the elements, that's why being barefooted, why being in nature, and what happens is, what distracts us is we are so much into that mind and into the job and the city and the media and what's happening and what's cool and what isn't cool, and all of this is such a distraction for the person, for the self, that it takes a really courageous person who really does tell the truth to themselves instead of lie to themselves. And as long as we're lying to ourselves, we're always dissatisfied, and there's always something wrong with everybody else, and there's something wrong with us. And the fear, and then the attachment to everyone and everything that we think is the source of our survival, our happiness, our love, and the fear is so great, you'll do anything. And it becomes so manipulative, so nasty, and yet the person will lie and cover it, but the body also won't lie. And it begins to, it takes on that whole sick mentality. And when there's a sickness in the mind, it's called dis-ease. It's a lack of comfort. It's a lack of bliss, in a sense. Bliss isn't something you attain. It's the state of being when you're not thinking. Because it's the thinking, the analyze, the figuring out, judging, lamenting, hankering, guilt, remorse, expectations. Talking to someone, they're so excited about the new science. It's always something new, something new. And it's actually, when you look at it, you think about it, you manufacture it in this reality, because this is what you do. When we get who we really are, then what we want to do is to discover and remove those obstacles, because no matter whatever else you do, it's not going to happen, because we're putting our faith in, and blind faith in, that which is a thing, and it is not it. Information technology, IT, is not it. Because then there's artificial intelligence. And so it's people thinking, well, we'll add a self to the artificial intelligence. We already have a self that's promoting artificial intelligence. It's already been done. And how you know it's been done to you is the power that you give to your mind, and the thoughts and the beliefs and the concepts and what you identify with, your nationality, the color of your skin, where you grew up, how much money, how you don't have it, your accomplishments, your degrees, your claim to fame. I mean, it goes on and on, because the deep programming of there's something wrong with you. You're not good enough. You see, there's people who are, but you're not. And you never will be, you see, in that duality construct, because to be good enough, you also have to have the fear of not being. So you get then those who think all have the superiority complex, that actually have an inferiority complex, because they go together. You don't need a complex, say. And we're taught you have, because then if you get your degree in psychology, you have to say what they tell you, because then you think you know it, but you don't know anything at all. And so I have a lot of my students are therapists, and in my mentoring programs, and they're doing great things because they've really learned how and what they are, and to be independent in that, and how they're really, I mean, some of them are just I'm just blown away by how, when their powers are unleashed, and the good that they can do for others. A lot of my people are writers, my mentors. They're in my mentoring programs, and their writing is being published everywhere, and their videos, and I know one is she does natural health and just do great things. It's like, yes, because that's my work, is in the mentoring, because I know how to do that, is to actually be there and to assist people in attaining, through the knowledge, the information, the mentoring, and the cheerleading, coaching, whatever you want to call it, is that always masters work with masters. And when you master is someone who becomes an expert in what they're doing. You see, we're all equal in who we are. And then to remove those obstacles and those blockages that have kept us from being who we are, and living in fear and doubt and insecurity, and doing evil ways, where we're basically exploiting each other and sucking the life force out of each other so we can survive, or the, I'm a vegetarian, the killing, the slaughtering, the torture of animals, and then eating and consuming, and you're then contaminating your divine spiritual body, which is the temple of the living God, the living goddess, you see. So it's like, that I tell you, so many times I've been on the edge of leaving the body, and actually by tuning in and being, and then that body is then eventually fully restored. I mean, know who you are and be who you are. And so what that takes is to recognize and realize what are these underground thoughts and beliefs that you actually believe and you will fight to the death for, when you can't die, but will keep everything in conflict with emotion and suffering and pain and excitement and what's it? Don't play. Whew. And when you stay in who you are, all is possible to you and through you, and how you do it, it is to claim that power, the divine, and allow it to express through you, effortlessly and joyfully, moment to moment. And there